We have to travel back 2000 years ago when Masayuki's original form Rudra or Ludora was born as a prince to the Nazca kingdom, which would later be known as the Eastern Empire. Now Rudra isn't just your run-of-the-mill human, as he was one of Twilight Valentine's OG high human creations who can live for far longer than regular humans. But even if he was just a normal human, he has evolved to the highest level possible in Tensura and become a divine human, of which there only exist 5, including Rudra or Masayuki. This is brought about by breaking through mental barriers and essentially becoming enlightened, which is very important to keep in mind as it plays a detrimental role later in Rudra's life. However, the even cooler feat is Rudra gaining the title of Chosen Hero from the element of light. This is like becoming a Demon Lord seed but for the other party, where you can only have this title after being picked by either Rimuru, elements of light, darkness, or time. After that, you will have a hero egg inside of you, which will hatch like a Demon Lord awakening to give you a profound power boost, which transcends you into a class of true dragons, like we see with Chronoa or Time Loop Chloe. Not today. Since birth, Rimuru had an ambition to bring about peace to the world, chosen by the ultimate skill Uriel and holding the other unique skill of King of Heroes, which we'll talk about later. Rudra would come to be known as the first chosen hero, or his title, Hero of Beginnings, leading him to eventually meet Veldanava and become his student, because Veldanava had created a Demon Lord for the world to be kept in check. Yet, what is a Demon Lord if there isn't a hero journeying to defeat him, right? So Veldanava granted Rudra his own ultimate skill, Michael, Lord of Justice, in exchange for Rudra's Uriel. He did this because one of the main powers of Michael is Castle Guard, which is a form of defense which gets stronger with how much faith and reverence your people have upon you, which is very fitting for a hero who will save the world. However, later, this action by Veldanava would be the biggest mistake of his entire life. Before then though, Rudra alongside his party consisting of his sister and Veldanava's future wife Lucia plus Grin would venture towards the frozen continent to battle the evil Demon Lord Guy for his treasure. I mean to save the world, not his cut that. Upon seeing how money-hungry Rudra was, Guy destroyed his expensive armor in one strike, making the hero bawl his eyes out because that shit cost his country's entire yearly budget to afford. But Guy at the same time also had respect for the hero, as the party of 3 couldn't have made their way up to Guy's castle without defeating 2 primordial colors in Misery the Green and Rain the Blue. So he should at least entertain them, right? Yet the 2 had no intention to kill each other as their battle continued, especially after Rudra started laughing at how Guy picked his name by simply naming himself after a noise he made during battle. And Guy had become bored out of his mind, sitting in his castle for centuries, so they both fought for days as a friendly contest. During this bout for the ages, Velgrind was also lounging around in Guy's castle alongside her sister Velzard, and started to fall for Rudra as he kept struggling against Guy. Eventually, Guy, being a demon peer, just started to adapt to Rudra's skill, and it was clear that in a short time, Guy would come out on top, with this battle losing its appeal, and boredom would start to seep in again for the Demon Lord once again. So Guy and Rudra instead created a game where they would compete with each other to determine who would rule the world. And with Velgrind falling for Rudra at this point, both sides would also have a true dragon waifu beside them. Then a tragedy hit. Lucia and Veldanava had their kid Milim, transforming the once omnipotent being into just a mortal human. With Veldanava's life now on the clock, Rudra strived more than ever to unite the world for peace. But Rudra's biggest fear eventually came true, as a terrorist attack laid waste to Nazca, killing both Lucia and Veldanava in the crossfire. This not only sent Milim into a fit of rage, but left Rudra in a state of mental turmoil. He had lost his innocence to a downward spiral, only having his game with Guy as a reason to live. This mental hurt also gave more control to the ultimate skill's will residing within Rudra, Rudra because its greatest wish was also to return back to its true master Veldanava. You see, the skill never saw Rudra as his true master. In fact, the only reason he slightly obeyed the Emperor to begin with was because Veldanava ordered him to. So it sought out another being across the multiverse who also had the same goal as it. The first primordial angel, Feldway, whom at this point wanted to come to the Cardinal World and figure out how to bring back Daddy Veldanava. However, time and time again, the portal was blocked by demons, especially Noir. But when this voice spoke, Feldway felt a kinship towards it. Yet at this time, it was just a skill with no name. So by calling it Michael, Feldway gave it a name and evolution into a Manas. So using their Discord channel that transcended worlds, the two started to plan the resurrection of their fallen master. The first step was to get Michael a proper vessel, Rudra. In Michael's eyes, Rudra had no place in their plan, and so he took the steps to compromise Rudra's soul in order to take control of his body. Rudra wasn't an idiot though. He could see that his body was becoming weary as containing Michael's will was becoming too much. This left him with very few options, like reincarnation. Think of Michael like a parasite clinging onto Rudra's body in order to gain a vessel, but Rudra wants to continue his game with Guy. So what does he do? Reincarnates through an eternal cycle of rebirth. This essentially resets Michael's hold on him, if only temporarily, but it had massive repercussions. Every time Rudra reincarnated, a piece of his soul would split from him, entering the vast multiverse. This meant every reincarnation would last less time, as without his full soul, Michael would have an easier time taking over him. This inner battle lasted for 2,000 years, but sadly ended in defeat for Rudra, as Michael took full control of the body, shattering the remains of Rudra's soul and blowing them away into several other dimensions. At the same time, the entire upper echelon of the Eastern Empire had come under Michael's control through absolute dominion without even knowing, including Velgrind due to her possessing an angelic ultimate skill. And so from this point on, Michael disguised himself as Rudra and reigned supreme over the Eastern Empire, working towards his goal of resurrecting Daddy Dragon God himself. But like I said, Rudra wasn't dead, just shattered. Multiple people would be born with a fragment of his soul, which when brought back together would supposedly bring back Rudra. One of these soul fragments was brought to our own world. Yup, Rudra's soul legit transported from the world of a light novel to modern day Earth, becoming a part of Masayuki Honjo. Just your typical 16-year-old Japanese high school student, and they weren't even trying to hide the resemblance here. Like, he's almost identical to Rudra. This man was just minding his business, doing normal 16-year-old high school shit when this absolute baddie just comes over and kisses him. Now, before he could even process getting kissed by a beauty like Velgrind, he was sent flying into the Cardinal World, becoming an otherworlder like no other. It wasn't a summon or reincarnation. Bro just kind of spawned in. Now, I swear all of this will make sense, but first we have to explain Masayuki's story within the central world. Due to how he was sent here, he wasn't originally granted skills by the voice of the world. Like, bro couldn't even understand any of the language. So the guy did what any person would do, find food. But after going to a restaurant, he found a girl being harassed by some buff dude. Now, Masayuki didn't stand up to the guy because he was willing to save that girl. Nah, he just wanted to get out of there, but a crowd was blocking the exit. So bro accidentally squared up to this dude and thought, yeah, he's fucked. But he has MC powers. So the voice of the world finally spoke to him, granting him the unique skill, Chosen One, completely misunderstanding the situation and declaring Masayuki's actions as being courageous. Masayuki prepared for the worst, but when he opened his eyes, the person attacking him was on the floor unconscious. This, of course, was thanks to his unique skill, the Chosen Hero, which is one of the rarest unique skills, even having the power to rival ultimate skills, wielding 4 main abilities, the first being Heroic Aura. This is basically just, hey, I'm stronger, bow before me. Anyone who is weaker than the user immediately becomes immobilized. Basically, Basically, it's just Conqueror's Haki. This power can also sometimes convert enemies over to the user's side, like we see with Masayuki's companion. The second is Heroic Blessing, which grants the user an immense luck stat that pretty much guarantees a critical hit. This can also be spread to other party members, meaning you got a bunch of people constantly landing insanely proficient strikes. But the best part about this ability is the fact that it turns people into simps. They'll view Masayuki as the hero, constantly praising him as the embodiment of pure justice and good. Like, Masayuki could straight up murder an entire country and people would still call him a hero. You know Sid from Eminence in Shadow of how Bro can get any waifu to fall for him by just yapping BS? Think of Masayuki like Sid from Eminence in Shadow. Which also leans into the last two abilities of the Chosen One, Heroic Charm and Action. These two are pretty much just buff skills, as Charm grants anyone who witnesses the user in battle inspiration to join him and decrease their fear. Also, Action turns Masayuki into a role model for everyone, eventually earning constant praise. In other words, it's just straight up plot armor. Physically, Masayuki isn't that strong, but everyone just kind of simps for him because he's the hero. Sounds pretty good, right? Well, Masayuki absolutely hates it. Obviously, being a soul fragment of the first hero naturally makes Masayuki qualified to become a true hero, which is necessary in order to even receive the Chosen One skill. But Masayuki doesn't know shit about how to control this power, so literally no matter where he goes or what he does, he's receiving constant praises for heroics he's not even doing. This is how he managed to beat the Colosseum in Ingracia. Bro is just a normal ass dude, but is treated like a god. Man can't have a normal conversation without the other person glazing the hell out of him. Naturally, this is annoying, and it gets to the point where Masayuki just kind of gives up and accepts it, eventually earning himself the title Masayuki the Lightspeed Hero. But he would eventually meet someone who wasn't affected by this skill, Yuki the Rat. I mean, Guildmaster Yuki. The two become quick friends, as Masayuki's origin and circumstance is very much like Yuki's, who also got transported from Japan as a teen. But their friendship was kind of ass due to Yuki constantly working to undermine Tempest and Rimuru. So Masayuki would set out with a party consisting of the man he beat at the restaurant, Jinrai, and Bernie, another otherworlder from the US introduced to him by Yuki. But just between you and me, they could be ops, alright? But I will get into more of that in the hour-plus long 3-volume Eastern Empire War arc review I'll be doing in a few weeks. So keep liking the video and commenting that y'all want this video, because the editors already hate me for these super long slime videos, so all support is appreciated. They're gonna beat me up. Later on in their travels, Masayuki's party would meet a spirit user named Jiwoo, who would join them as well. The group would become notorious, eventually earning themselves the title Team Lightspeed, after Yuki sent Lightspeed to the nation of Blockia. Sounds like a Minecraft village name. Anyways, they went to stop the slave trade there. Remember that Viscount guy that Miyamaya was talking to in the latest season while Rimuru interrupted and before they started talking about creating McDonald's? Well, yeah, that guy had a whole slave trade going on. So after rescuing all of the elf slaves who come from the Jura forest, Masayuki and his group accompanied them back to their home. If you want to know why did Michael feel that Rimuru was warm like Daddy Star King, then watch this video on screen right now.